What's going on, guys? Hello and welcome to the Cash Printer, where we will take a look at the best bets for the upcoming UFC card. Here, we focus specifically on value bets, which will bring us long-term profits. Here is your host, MMA Dave.
At the end of the day.
What's up, lads? I am MMA Dave, and this is the Cash Printer. Today we have two big bets for the upcoming UFC 257 card, one of which is a massive 10% play. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I want to be clear from the outset, this is important. I'm not here to predict fights, I'm here to find market inefficiencies, and that is how you will make money. There are excellent technical breakdown artists on YouTube who deal with the various X's and O's of how a fight will go down and attempt only to predict results regardless of odds. This is not how you make money. We're not looking to predict the winner, we're looking to find market inefficiencies. Now let's look at some examples. If a fighter is 3-1 or plus 300 and you believe he has a 40% chance of winning, that means you believe he has a 60% chance of losing. You think he will lose that fight. However, the profitable thing to do in that situation is to bet on that fighter. Plus 300 or 3-1 odds imply a winning probability of 25%. If you cap that fighter at a 40% chance, it's a great bet to make. You've discovered a massive 15% edge against the house. And that is a market inefficiency. Making smart plays like this long term will pay dividends. Lose the prediction mindset now. Conversely, if a fighter is 1-3 or minus 300 and you believe they have about a 70% chance of winning, you do not place that bet even though you think they're 70% likely to win the fight. If you approach with a prediction mindset, you may be lured into placing this bet, maybe double it up with another fighter. No. If it's not good value as a single, it's not good value as a double. Minus 300 or 3-1 odds imply a winning probability of 75%. You must cap that fighter as having over a 75% chance of winning to place that bet. This is how you become a shrewd and intelligent bettor. Typically you're going to want at least a 3% edge to be worthy of placing a bet. I usually look for at least 5%. A good rule of thumb to follow is this: if you've decided to bet the fight, for every 3% edge you believe you have against the line, bet 1% of your bankroll. I'll say that again. For every 3% edge you have against the implied odds, bet 1% of your bankroll, up to a maximum of 5%. If I find a pick which I am over 80% confident in, and my edge exceeds 15%, I will consider playing a double max bet of 10%. One more thing maybe before we get stuck into the good stuff: bankroll management. So stick with me here for just another minute. You can be the best handicapper on planet Earth with a 90% winning ratio. However, if you cannot manage your bankroll proficiently, you will go broke. 100%. If you start feeling overly confident or chase your losses and double, triple, quadruple your usual calculated stake, you will eventually go broke. You're a mathematical certainty to go broke. It may work once, it may even work 10 times, but eventually it will cost you your entire hard-earned bankroll. We have a strategy for a reason and we're going to stick to it. We're here to be intelligent bettors, sharks who can carefully calculate their next move and pounce on market inefficiencies. To do that to its full effect, we must stick to our bankroll management and track all of our bets. Make a plan from the outset and stick to it. What I can promise each and every one of you is that every selection I give involves hours of tape study. I watch fights for hours, I watch all of the fighters' last few fights and look for all the little things that maybe stick out, give me information that other people do not have. I also listen to various podcasts to ensure that I consider all possible variables. These podcasts include Bloody Elbow's MMA Vivisection, Dan Hardy's War Room, MMA Prediction Guru, The Weasel, and Kyle Anthony and Johnny Corrales at Wager Talk. Special shoutouts also to the MMA Think Tank and John Fraley, with whom I bounce all of my ideas. Now let's get started. My first bet for this card is Dan Hooker. I believe his 4-inch height and 5-inch reach advantage will prove pivotal. He's a master of range management, and though he can slow down after 2 rounds, which we've seen before against Felder and Poirier, this is a 3-round fight. I believe Hooker in the first 2 rounds, excluding the retired Khabib, is the best fighter in this division after Conor and arguably Oliveira. His takedown defense is top class, and he is a highly underrated grappler, which we will look at in closer detail in a moment. What is Michael Chandler's path to victory here? Nobody has ever taken and held Hooker down. Hooker's range management and beautiful striking should allow him to largely dominate the fight. Overzealous takedown attempts will likely be punished by Hooker's brutal right knee to the chin and or his neck attacks, which we'll look at in a couple of minutes. I also see his debilitating leg kicks landing numerous times against Chandler. His iron chin is just the cherry on top. I cap Dan Hooker here at 70%, which equates to a 15% edge against the implied probability of his minus 120 price tag. 15 divided by 3 equals 5, and that's our first 5% play. Locked in. Now, let's get to looking at some snaps of Hooker in action. First up, his takedown defense, which we saw against Jim Miller. Miller grabs a hold of Hooker's leg, and Dan shows great balance before eventually going to his back. Now, you might look at that and say, well, Miller's not he's not one of the best wrestlers in the division. Chandler has more power. If Miller can get him down, then surely Chandler can get him down. And that's a fair point. However, even against a top-class submission artist like Miller, Dan's long limbs allowed him to maintain control of the situation and get back to a dominant position within a matter of about 10 seconds. He knocks Miller dead with the aforementioned knee, punishing an ill-timed level change by the veteran, which you see on your screen now. Now we look at Hooker taking on the now 170-pound title challenger Gilbert Burns. We all know how good Burns has been in the last while. When Burns changed levels, Dan swiftly locked in an impressive choke. These are the neck attacks I was referring to. Don't get me wrong, he never got legitimately close to finishing it, but even locking in that choke on such a decorated world champion BJJ artist immediately rang alarm bells in my head. This kid can definitely grapple. He also fought Al Iaquinta, which we will now move on to. A similar style to Chandler, though admittedly Iaquinta lacks the pure power and wrestling chops of the former Bellator champion. First, I just wanted to show the damage that Dan can do with his leg kicks. He dropped Al multiple times in this fight with these. Al also got deep on a takedown, which we'll see here, only quickly to find Dan reverse the position, take mount, and then take Al back. Now, Al is a quality jiu-jitsu artist, and this once again demonstrates that Dan is not this one-dimensional fighter, which seems to be the narrative going into this, that he needs to keep it standing against Chandler or he's goosed. I do not agree. Chandler will not outclass this guy on the mat with ease, and that's if he can even get it there. Dan's long limbs are a massive problem, and like I said before, nobody has managed to hold him down yet. Just get a little drink of water. I just wanted to finish off this little snippet with a quote from Dan Hardy during his fight with Paul Felder, just before we look. Now, Hooker is slowly dismantling his opponent, not overcommitting or putting himself at risk. The range management is really quite astounding. He looks like he's cruising here. He looks so comfortable. And that is exactly how I summed up those couple of rounds against Felder as well, the first couple of rounds. Before, like I said before, Hooker tends to fade. He doesn't have the same range management and in and out hopping movement after those first couple of rounds. Hooker is so silky on the feet though, and I believe he has the beating of Chandler in every department, so long as his chin withstands the shots that Chandler does manage to land, and trust me, he will land a few. Chandler's recent level of opposition has not been very high. A 37-year-old Benson Henderson and a 145er in Patricio Pitbull do not equate to a guy at the standard of Dan Hooker in my opinion. For instance, Pitbull is 5'5". Next bet. And it's the big one. Conor McGregor inside the distance. Dustin Poirier is a fine fighter, don't get me wrong. He has heart in abundance and his boxing ability allows him to beat many fighters in the stand-up department. I fail to see how his style can match up well with Conor McGregor. I know their first fight was, 7 years ago now, but it is worth bearing in mind that rematches go to the first person who won the first fight the vast majority of the time, and they often just go quicker. He walks into range, and this is Poirier. He walks into range and fires short hooks and switches stance in combos. So he'll start his combo in southpaw and move into orthodox to throw a combo. This is how he kind of gets into range. And this type of movement will just be punished time and time again by Conor McGregor. He also failed, this is worth noting, because there's people talking about his wrestling game and whatever. He failed to take down Anthony Pettis in open space. He needs the cage for his wrestling to be effective, and Conor has already faced the best against the cage wrestler in the UFC. I believe Conor will once again have Dustin Poirier for breakfast. Conor's striking is the best in the division by a landslide. He is a true master of range management. His performances against Donald Cerrone and Eddie Alvarez, for example, were utter perfection. These are fighters which Dustin would, and has in Eddie's case, struggle with. There's levels to this game, and I don't believe Poirier is on Conor's level. I think Hooker showed plenty of weaknesses in Dustin's game if you watch the first couple of rounds of their fight, especially. And like I said, Hooker tends to fade a little bit, and Conor puts him away with those openings. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because there's countless footage and breakdowns of Conor online. I would point you towards Dan Hardy's War Room breakdowns. They're also top class, and they show the level that Conor operates at. I think Conor finishes Dustin 4 out of 5 times in this spot. That's an 80% chance, and it equates to a 21% edge on the odds. As I alluded to earlier, if I believe a bet has over 80% likelihood of landing, with over a 15% edge on the betting line, I will consider upping my stake to a double max bet of 10%. With Conor McGregor at centre stage, that's exactly what I'll be doing for this Saturday night to get us off to a flying start. There's wee Dustin in the corner. So to summarise, 2 bets for this card. One is 5% on Dan Hooker to win at -120, and the other is 10% on Conor McGregor to win inside the distance at -140. I'm starting this channel with a €2,000 bankroll, and I've set us an initial target of €4,000, so let's see how we get on. We'll keep you posted on that week by week. Thanks for watching, spread the word, happy punting, and let's print some cash. Don't forget to like and subscribe.